artificially created by the ramp up in Bitcoin prices. So everyone who holds Bitcoins thinks all their Bitcoins are worth that, and in a grand total, it's well over $1 billion. In truth, though, once a sell-off begins, the greed that is currently pushing the market upwards will transition into fear. The price support will falter. The fear will start a sell-off. The sell-off will start to devalue the holdings that current people have in Bitcoins. Once they see their money dropping down, they're going to start selling.
That's right. Slow growth is always the healthiest. When something goes straight up like an Atlas rocket, it's going to go straight down, and you already see them putting money laundering rules onto it, just preparing to try to then outlaw any competing digital currency, because the globalists are actually going to go themselves on record to a global SDR backed up by carbon taxes, wellhead taxes, and money transfer Tobin taxes. So they will try to strangle this in the crib. They may even be pumping money into it so that they can then dump it later. I mean, if they didn't, look, I think like the enemy. If I was the enemy, I'd do that.
Exactly. The central banks would be very smart right now to be buying Bitcoins, pushing it up, making it very, very popular, getting as many people on board as possible, and then when the timing is right, do a mass sell-off of Bitcoins, flood the marketplace with massive supply of Bitcoins, causing a crash, causing Bitcoins to be discredited so that no one ever trusts a decentralized, non-government-run currency again. That's the brilliant, evil tactic of the central bankers, who we know are deeply engaged in psychological warfare and market manipulations. So I think they are involved right now.
I'm going to get to some other news with you. I want to get your take on here. North Korea, Obama bugging the phones through Mother Jones. That's basically a White House front of Congress. I mean, of course they are. That's what the NSA is for. I want to talk about that with you in a moment. But first off, any other points you want to make about Bitcoin?
Well, just remember that right now what's driving the Bitcoin market is greed. The idea that you can buy low and sell high. Greed will turn to fear, as it has always done, Alex, in the tulip bulb bubble, in the dot-com bubble, that I also publicly predicted that it was going to crash 2 years before it did. And I know you did as well. And in the housing bubble, every bubble in history has the same psychological profile. Eventually, greed will turn to fear. Fear will turn to panic. And remember that the Wall Street stock markets, they have limits of how quickly a stock can drop in a day. They will close the market if it limits down too much. So you have a limit down and a cooling off period overnight. Bitcoin has no limits. There's no cooling period. That's why when the crash begins, it will be the most rapid, high-velocity crash of any currency in history. That's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. Oh, and one more important point, Alex. There are some very, very smart people who are going to get very rich off of this, who have built in algorithms to sell Bitcoin when it drops below a certain fixed market value. It's an automated, computerized selling system. They're going to make money because they'll be able to get out. But the result of that system is that it will accelerate the downward spiral of prices faster than most humans can respond. You're going to see the Bitcoin exchanges overloaded during the crash, and people won't be able to get out until the value is...
What's your gut tell you? Because they've been having some minor glitches, I think, to train people to stay in when it finally mega plunges, to deliver the maximum profit to the insiders. I mean, is it possible that Bitcoin could have been created by the system itself?
My gut tells me that it wasn't. I think it was probably created by some libertarian-minded mathematicians who, by the way, right now are billionaires for sure. But it can be manipulated by the central banks and the system, and I think it is being manipulated. And my gut tells me that this may go considerably higher still, but the higher it goes, the worse the crash is going to be. And the ultimate goal is to discredit Bitcoin, which I am against. I'm a proponent of this cryptocurrency.
Absolutely, but the operatives will spin it that we're against it. Okay, I want to shift gears with you. You've got a lot of contacts in Asia, I know. I've never seen rhetoric like this. Korea saying they're going to blow up Japan, South Korea, and the U.S. Obviously can't hit the U.S., may be able to hit Japan or South Korea, obviously, with their artillery, 10,000-plus pieces, no doubt. I mean, the perfect example of a collapsing psychopath with a bunch of weapons who can't even tie their shoelaces but have weapons because that's all they need. They want the guns. The people don't. That's why Obama wants the guns. Threatening South Korea, that's just an exploding, fastest-growing economy in the world, undoubtedly. I mean, this is unprecedented, saying we're loading the missiles tomorrow and, saying things like, and you will be destroyed. I mean, this is unprecedented.
Well, as we talked about when I was a guest there in studio last week with you, I believe that America has the right at this point, the moral justification to go ahead and strike North Korea's leadership.
And we're always anti-war because we're not for invading Iraq that's done nothing or putting Al-Qaeda in Libya and Syria. When somebody says, I have nukes, they're aimed, I'm going to launch them on you, boom!
Yes.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
But we have to make sure if that happens. And this is the one case in which I absolutely agree with the Pentagon to go in and do, you might call it a preemptive strike, but it's really a self-defense strike. I believe in the right to self-defense. I believe in that right for school teachers at schools, for individuals carrying handguns, and for nations to defend themselves against tyrants who are threatening to strike them with nuclear weapons. It's the same philosophy, just at a larger scale.
And China has backed off North Korea and told them to stop it. I mean, I think they should tell them one more threat to nuke Japan or South Korea or us, and I mean, you just to decapitate his government. I mean, they've got all the weapons. They don't want to show those. I mean, but they can decapitate them with the meteor guns right now.
And what we need to do is go in there, wipe out the corrupt, criminal North Korean leadership, and deliver something resembling democracy to that country. I know it's kind of hypocrisy since America seems to be abandoning democracy, but at least don't the people of North Korea deserve something resembling freedom?
It's such an example of pure evil. That's why our government gave them the reactors in the mid-'90s to make the A-bombs, because our government's just as bad. It's just they had richer people to build an empire off of.
Well, exactly. But if there were ever a case, a moral case for freeing people from enslavement through the use of military force, this is it.
And that's why they won't do it. And that's why they won't do it.
Probably,
Obama loves Mao Zedong. This is a Maoist state. I mean, they absolutely, he would love to set things up like this. And
yeah, they're probably getting ideas from Kim Jong-un of how to run Washington next. You know? Let
me raise another issue here with you. What do you think of the family having to flee to Cuba with their kids away from America, the evil parents that kidnap their own kids?
Yeah, well, we're seeing many examples of this. There's a homeschooling family from Germany that's also facing deportation. Look, parental rights are completely under assault. In fact, Paul Watson ran a story there on InfoWars, I think yesterday, about the collectivist mindset that MSNBC hosts saying your kids are not your kids. The parent is the state. It is a collective mommy and daddy now that's raising and owning your children. This is getting very, very dangerous, Alex. It's not just the assault on the Second Amendment. It's the assault on individualism. It's the assault on parenting.
It is, what is moonshine, 200 proof? It's pure alcohol. This is 200 proof tyranny. I mean, what they're trying to do, what they're hiding in plain view, it'd be like your neighbor walking in, shooting you in the leg and then raping your wife in front of them, and the police show up and give them a medal. I mean, it's such evil ideas, so proven to be evil. Verified authoritarianism, just stomping around in front of us. What do you think of pimping out the dead kids, Obama? I mean, these people are sick.
Well, look at the traitors in Connecticut, the members of the state Senate and the state House who voted for all of those infringements on the Second Amendment. Those people, Alex, swore to defend the oath. They swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and they themselves have proven that they are the enemies of America, the domestic enemies. But they swore
There's no doubt. I mean, listen. If they were really Americans in doing this, they'd be occupiers, revolutionaries, bringing in tyranny. But they work for foreign mega banks. They're open foreign mercenaries. I mean, I'm not just saying that for rhetoric. That's the New World Order.
I'm Darren McBreen, and these are some of the new items that are available now at InfoWarsShop.com.
Alert the public to Obama's blatant abuse of power with the new Obama t-shirt. Obama's Joker face on the front and come and take it on the back. It's time to publicly call him out for what he is, a tyrant. Defend the Second Amendment with our top seller Come and Take It t-shirts. And look at that, women's cut tank tops and t-shirts now available. Nice hat. Plus the Don't Tread on Me flag. And now you can become a micro distributor of the InfoWars magazine. Plus, get your own copy delivered right to your door each and every month. And if you're tired like I am of you and your family being exposed to polluted drinking water, get the Pro One high performance water filter. It gets rid of all pathogenic bacteria, cyst, fluoride, heavy metals, and numerous other contaminants.
So join the revolution at InfoWarsShop.com.
Look at this. Nixon tactics declared. FBI asked to investigate. And Mitch McConnell's wondering how Mother Jones has recordings of them inside their private office buildings, because Mother Jones and Media Matters and MSNBC are all Democratic Party White House run. And as bad as Mitch McConnell is, he's not. Total New World Order, butcher everything, kill babies up to age 3, the state's the mommy and daddy, you know, total tyranny, bankrupt everything. And there's a whole Tea Party wing trying to take the Republicans over right now. So the globalists just want them out of there. And, of course, they're bugging everything. I mean, Media Matters talks about how they'll get into media organizations and, quote, bring them down. These are spy organizations of foreign banks. These aren't liberals. Nixon tactics declared? I mean, Nixon had some